I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about diplomacy. There is a proverb from the 1700s attributed to Kautilya. A king whose territory has a common boundary with that of an enemy is an ally. How do you treat this potential ally? I found an author that quotes a lesser-known work of Machiavelli called Discourses. In Discourses, Machiavelli praised Cesare Borgia, saying, "He who considers it necessary to secure himself against enemies in various ways cannot find a better example than the actions of this man." What did he say Cesare Borgia did? He secured himself against enemies in his new principality. He won friends. He overcame others by force or fraud. He made himself beloved and feared by the people. He was followed and revered by the soldiers. He exterminated those with power to hurt him. He changed the old way of things for new. He was both severe and gracious, magnanimous and liberal. He destroyed disloyal soldiers and created new. He maintained friendship with kings and princes in such a way that they must help him with zeal and defend with caution. But was Cesare Borgia truly Machiavellian? In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote advice pertaining to ecclesiastic principalities in a chapter that might have been foreign to the thinking of Cesare Borgia. His advice about alliances was in chapter 21. Did Borgia subscribe to the more common adage, "An enemy of my enemy is my friend"? Perhaps not. What Machiavelli taught was that if two of your neighbors fight, you should join with the one you agree with. That way, if the enemy turns against you, your neighbor can't turn to you and say, "You didn't help me to fight against him before. Why should I help you now?" The idea that the bad guy will be so worn out by fighting your neighbor that you can conquer him with ease demands that you attack him immediately after he has won. At that time, your neighbor will either not be able to help you or will be bitter. Meanwhile, if your neighbor wins, he won't want to thank you for your special gift of not helping when he was in trouble, and will only be friends in a cool and tepid way. He will not help you with zeal and offend with caution. Overall, Borgia was something of a tyrant, and while he might be a good example of a conqueror, in the end his religious agenda suffered because of his unscrupulous reputation. So we see that it is more diplomatic to fight loyally with friends when they need it and fight faithfully against enemies. There is no need to be duplicitous for good diplomacy.